Ever wondered what's the best way of keeping your enemies outside of your clash? That's what I'm going to be discussing in this video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, join our Discord, and also follow us on Instagram so you always have the support that you need to really enhance your account and get yourself to the next level. Also, if you stick around until the end of the video, I'm going to show you how you can save a lot of money when you make in-game purchases by getting some amazing cashbacks each time you purchase anything. Hello everyone and welcome to another video of the Sky channel. Alright, so in this video we're going to be talking about the best way to increase the chances of keeping your enemies outside of a particular clash via tunnels. Now, tunnels are what's between two different zones. They connect two different zones and they're always neutral. So even if one side has an enemy buff and the other side has your allies buff, it doesn't matter because the tunnel is going to remain neutral regardless of what buffs are on either side. This is actually fairly helpful because it means that you can always fight in the tunnels without having to worry about buffs on either side. Now, what are some effective strategies for you to use to make sure that enemies are stuck at the tunnels? And one of the strategies is very similar to how ferries used to work, though ferries are a little bit more effective in that because of the fact that they have very low durability and there are two ferries on each side of the river, giving you a little bit of extra flexibility on ferry blocks. And we can talk a little bit about that, but let's talk about tunnels right now. You see, let's go to this tunnel. It's occupied by Sky, and let's say the enemy comes over on the other side and there's a tower that they've created here, and now they're attacking this tunnel and they want to occupy it, right? What Sky can do in this case is that we can defend the tunnel to try to slow the occupation down, right? That's an obvious thing that we could do. However, what if we allowed the enemy to continue attacking the tunnel and we kept an eye on the enemy attacks and made sure that when the enemy is able to get the tunnel down to a certain percent, we ask the camp leader to retreat from the tunnel, which makes it neutral instantly, and then have a few rallies on our side and quickly occupy this tunnel. What that means is that the enemy, let's say they continued attacking and they got the tunnel's durability all the way down to, let's say, 5%. And the fact is that we were extremely close to the tunnel. We opened a quick few rallies, attacked it, and got that 5%. And now the tunnel is back with us and it has a 30-minute shield. So the enemy wasted a lot of stamina. We only used 4 rallies, out of which, let's say, we only needed 2 of them, and we got the tunnel back. The enemy is now stuck here for another 30 minutes. They can't even attack the tunnel anymore because of the shield. Now remember, tunnels have variable different levels. There's even a level 9 tunnel, and that's 107,000 durability. If somebody does this on a level 9 tunnel, the enemy is probably not going to be very happy because they would have used a ton of stamina, and then you had the camp leader withdraw this tunnel right before the enemy could get it. You open a quick few rallies and you ended up getting the tunnel. Things are back to the way they were. You have 100% durability, the tunnel is owned by you, and there's a 30-minute shield on that tunnel, so the enemy is blocked. So it can be an extremely effective way to slow enemies down while also draining a ton of their stamina because tunnels can have a lot of durability. Now, I did mention that ferries can be a very effective block as well, and part of the reason is because there are two sides of the ferry, and what that means is that let's say the enemy is on this side, and before the enemy completes their tower, I can withdraw from this ferry, and right before their tower completes, I can finish the occupation of that ferry. I can even be prepared in a way that I can make sure that it only has, let's say, 2% durability, and a minute before the enemy's tower completes, I just use a few solos, and now I have a 30-minute shield on this side of the ferry. Then, when this shield is about to finish, the enemy goes ahead and takes this side, which would definitely be easy because of the fact that ferries usually have very low durability. This is an odd case. It's a level 7 ferry. A lot of ferries are level 4 and have very small amount of durability. The enemy is likely going to be able to capture it just by the fact that they're doing rallies, and you are probably going to have a tough time defending ferries because you're going to be pretty far out on the other side of the river. So enemies are usually going to be able to get the ferry, right? But that's fine because you can actually get the shield on the other side of the ferry right after the enemy gets this side. So your shield is going to end after the enemy's shield ends. And the way you want to think about it is that how long will it take the enemy to launch a solo from here to this side of the ferry? And based on that time, you can make sure that there's no chance that the enemy can actually pull in a quick solo and get that ferry. So you have that sort of a buffer that guarantees that you're going to be the one getting this by doing a solo right at the right time. And that gives you a shield that's a little bit longer than the enemy's shield. Now, what you do next is that when the enemy side shield ends, you are getting in position. You're going to do a lot of rallies for the enemy's ferry while you still have a little bit of time on your side because your shield isn't out yet, and hopefully that little time that you had extra gives you the opportunity to get the enemy's ferry to a low point because they're going to have a tough time defending it too, and then you can reoccupy the other side of the ferry and everything is good because now you have a shield on this side. You already have this ferry. When the shield is about to end, you can repeat the whole process that you did with this one and then keep on going ahead and keeping this block active. Now, what if the enemy got lucky and they ended up getting this side of the ferry as well? Well, simple. You are going to have a few towers that are blocking this side of the ferry as well. Why that helps? Because to destroy your tower, they are going to need at least 30 minutes. And that's without any resistance. You are definitely going to be resisting. You're going to be getting their troops out of the tower. And it's quite likely going to take them way longer than 30 minutes for them to actually destroy your towers. You could have layered towers as well. So if they destroy one, that doesn't help much. They still have to destroy a few more before they can actually proceed, right? But if they are struggling to destroy one of your towers and let's say in 30 minutes they only got you down to 50%, what are you going to do once 30 minutes end? You're going to attack the ferry, right? Because ferries are hard to defend. And you are probably going to be getting that ferry successfully. It's going to be yours. You get that shield back on it, 30 minutes. You have 30 minutes to heal your tower, get it back to 100%, and boom, right? The enemy is sort of locked. Now, of course, the enemy could potentially have the camp leader withdraw from that ferry, pull in a few solos, and perhaps get that shield back up. That gives them a little bit of extra time. And that's one of the ways for you to counter it, but there's a lot of luck involved. They're probably going to have less space on this side of the ferry than you because you're probably going to have this whole place. You can have a few people standing right here, opening a bunch of rallies, and the probability of you getting it is probably higher than the enemy that's going to have two people on this side, right? And they might open rallies or perhaps solos. You have a better shot at it. Going back to the tunnels. See, now you could do the exact same thing with the tunnels as well, right? You could have a bunch of towers on this side, and then the enemy has to destroy a few towers before they can proceed, but in that time you can get that tunnel. That being said, it's a little bit tougher with tunnels because of the fact that they have a higher durability than ferries, and the enemy is probably going to be as close to you on the other side of the tunnel. So if you get the durability low enough, they can probably open a quick few rallies as well, and there's a high chance they can actually get it back, especially if they have a lot of space on the other side. So it's a little bit different from ferries. In ferries, the enemy has a limited space on your side of the river. They might have a lot of space on the other side. In the tunnel's case, there's no river, so things work a little bit differently. Now, what is another way you can actually make it very difficult for enemies to cross a tunnel? Difficult but not impossible, because at the end it does always come down to activity of your side versus the enemy's side, is what we have done over here. You can see that we have TGM and KDA over here. Sky has occupied this area here. There's a bunch of towers here for extra space. You can see KDA has a little bit of a line over here. And you can see there's TGM on this side with a little bit of space space. Now, you might think that this is a little bit odd. There's an order at which all of these towers were created, making it this particular way. But first, I want to talk about the fact that you can see there is one block of space between the tunnel and any of our towers. This guarantees that the enemy is forced to place a tower over here, right? There's no other place they can place a tower because they cannot break any of these towers that are here. They're not connected to them, so they can't break them. They have to place a tower somewhere over here before they can attack any of these towers, right? Without it, they are not connected to those towers. Why is that a bad thing? Well, first of all, if they place a tower anywhere over here, they are exposing their tower in a place that is right next to our tower area, right? We have much lower march times. We could literally teleport here and start attacking it. On the other hand, they are going to have to be on the other side of the tunnel. That's one problem. They have to create a pretty risky tower to even get the opportunity to advance, right? A baby tower with 5% durability can be lost very quickly if our allies end up overwhelming the enemies with activity. The other thing is, no matter how many allies they have on the other side, only one of them can actually build that baby tower, the one that actually has the tunnel. The other one can stay on the other side. They can probably hit hills and all that, but they cannot build a tower, and they can also not clear us from the tower because they are not connected to the tower, right? If this enemy creates a tower here or here or here or anywhere, their ally is not going to be connected to it, right? The best thing they can do is create a tower, immediately withdraw from that tunnel, then the other enemy has to get the tunnel, and by that time, like, come on, if they can survive the amount of time it takes to actually rally to get a level 8 tunnel, the other enemy is probably already good enough, right? They were able to make the baby tower survive for, I don't know, 30 minutes or something, so they probably don't even need their help at that point. The point is, if they created a baby tower, they're on their own. They could have like 5 enemies on the other side, it doesn't matter. Only one enemy can place a tower, so they are blocked. The other enemies cannot help them directly, right? And in this particular case, the interesting thing is, no matter where they create that tower, they can be attacked by Sky, they can be attacked by KDA, and they can be attacked by TGM. There is no way for them to place it anywhere that doesn't connect to all 3 of our allies, right? Place it here, place it here, place it anywhere, which is these are the only possibilities they can place it at. It's always going to be connected to all 3 of our allies. Essentially, that means that when they create that baby tower, all 3 of our allies can go in full force and try to break that baby tower, right? And we can make sure that it's always on fire, and we can try to make sure that it is destroyed before they're able to complete it. So baby tower with only 5% durability can be attacked by all 3 allies. This makes the advancement of the enemies fairly difficult because of the fact that they are forced into a 3-on-1 with a baby tower that's right next to us and fairly far from them, while also making sure that they cannot get too much support from their allies other than, let's say, some hill hits, which doesn't help too much. It's a little bit of a waste of stamina in my opinion. People can then come back and then you're just burning stamina at that point. So no matter how many enemies you have on the other side, they're a little bit stuck because they have to place a baby tower somewhere here without having the direct support of any of their allies. Meanwhile, our side is definitely going to have all 3 of our allies that are connected here be able to attack that baby tower. Now you could say that it's a little bit tricky on how these things are placed in the fact that KTA only has a little bit of space over here, right? Like they cannot even teleport here, and they only have a little bit of space here, a little bit of space here, but that's like a long march times. You could say that TGM, they only have like a 1.5 tower space here, and then after that it's a little bit far away. Sky seems to have a decent amount of space, but you know what, it's just one of the 3 alliances. Here's another thing. Sky does not have free teleport in this area, right? And that's why, to balance that out, Sky has created a few towers here to get enough space. KTA has the residence here, which means that they have free teleport. So while their tower space seems a little bit small, they can teleport here, 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 here. They can teleport in all these places. And then if you go to TGM, same thing here because they have the Wonder, right? So they can also teleport in each of these places without even having a tower space there, right? So Sky doesn't have free teleports, so they're balancing it out with more tower space. The other two do have free teleports, so they don't need to have a lot of tower space because they can share this location that they have over here. In fact, if, let's say, KT and TGM decided, they could destroy these two towers as well, and then any of the TGM or KTA could share this space freely. It's only Sky that does not have free teleport that has to have a fixed location because we have to create towers, and that's the only spot our members could go at. The other thing is you must be wondering that this seems to be designed in a very particular manner. And that's absolutely true. You can see that these towers were created before. So from Sky's side, this tower and this tower were made earlier because we wanted to make sure we're not touching this tunnel, right? So it's over here. TGM actually had this tower over here and KDA had this tower over here. Now KDA created this tower after Sky had finished this one. That's why you could see that KDA doesn't have the full tower spot for this. And then after that, KTA paused, right? They completed this tower. TGM created this tower and completed it. That's why they have this location over here. And then Sky created this tower and completed it, which is why we have this location over here, right? And then after both of that was done, KTA created this single tower and that got them this location over here. This made sure that no matter where the enemy places their towers, it always connects to all three. So the order of that is really important. I hope it didn't confuse you, but essentially to make sure that all three are touching, you have to have stuff in a sophisticated way, and it has to be pre-planned, making sure with one of the ally has a residence and the other has the Wonder, and then the third one has a bunch of towers so they can actually bring a bunch of their team members in as well. Now, if preferred, you could also connect with this tunnel, let's say with a tower like this, and then you can, let's say, occupy it and then have a shield on it. And then when the enemy is about to take it, have the camp leader discard it and then try to take it back when the percentage falls to a certain point. And you can do that thing as well. And if things don't work out, and let's say the enemy destroys your tower that was connecting to it, well, you still have this whole thing. So they do have to take a big risk when they want to proceed. And that's all I have for this video. I hope it was helpful for you. I know it was probably a little bit more of an explanatory video and it could confuse you, but I hope it didn't and I hope it made sense. And before you go, I want you to know you can save a lot of money when you make in-game purchases in the Underground Kingdom using Aptoid and my promo code. Check out the video for the latest promo code that's going to be in the title of the video. It's also going to go through the steps with you, but keep in mind that there are a few extra things that came up since the time I made that video. You can only use the promo code 5 times every 30 days, so you want to make sure you're using it on $100 and coin packs to get the maximum value. The other thing is that there could be an option of you adding the promo codes on checkout as well. And if you see that option, make sure you do add the promo code there, because if it's prompting you for the promo code, it means that it's verifying if you want to use the promo code for this purchase or not. If it's not prompting you, it probably means that it's automatically applied as long as you did add it in the AppCoins wallet. You can always verify that you are getting that bonus by looking at the number that you can see at the bottom of the screen. Whenever you're making any purchases, it tells you how much bonus you're getting. If my 5% is included, that means that you are getting the bonus for this purchase. Thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you in the next one.